Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. Hong Kong film. Sinking into the Sea by the Jiang Family. I explode my soldiers to promote Hong Xing. Li Jun travels through the Hong Kong variety show world in the 1980s and discovers that he has become the most powerful red stick in Hong Xing's history, but is secretly plotted by Jiang Tiansheng to sink into the sea due to his high achievements. Li Jun, who obtained the explosive weapon system, decided to start pushing horizontally from Hong Xing. Jiang Tiansheng, it's fair for you to sink me into the sea and I'll take you swimming, isn't it? Camel, if it's not easy to do, then don't do it. Li Cucumber, the surname of Hong Kong Island is indeed Li, but it's my Li Jun's Li. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 001, do you know that it was loaded into an iron bucket and sunk into the sea? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Park Street, I just slept with your daughter. Do you want to be so ruthless and use missiles to bomb me? A young man wearing a floral shirt and beach pants cursed softly at a seaside estate in Siam. Although this young man has fair and tender skin, like a small white face, he exudes a rebellious temperament all over his body, and this contrast gives him a unique charm. The sunlight hit the young man's face, reflecting his already sharp and angular face like an axe chiseling a knife, extraordinary in bravery. As a top-tier mercenary, overnight romance is the best way for Li Jun to release pressure. Just often walking by the river, there is no way to avoid getting wet shoes. One day, after Li Jun slept in the clothes of the only daughter of a powerful military figure in Siam, Li Jun, who left without saying goodbye, was chased by a woman's angry father. Li Jun, who had rich experience in running, managed to avoid multiple crises and successfully boarded a small passenger ship heading to Nanyang Lion City. However, he never expected that his kind father was a madman. He fired a missile directly, not only blasting the ship into the sea, but also blasting Li Jun into another world. Strictly speaking, Li Jun has been in this world for 3 years, but due to the fusion of memories, he has been confused for these 3 years until just now, when he was completely awake. This is a Hong Kong comprehensive world that integrates the backgrounds of multiple Hong Kong films. In this world, there are clubs such as Hongxing, Dongxing, and Liansheng, as well as gangsters like Jiang Tiansheng, Jiang Tiansheng, and Camel. In this world, Li Jun's identity is also extraordinary. He is the most reclusive red stick in the history of Hong Xing, nicknamed Mixed Jianglong. Before the rise of Li Jun, Hong Xing was not as good as Xing, Hao Gang, and Liansheng on Hong Kong Island, nor was he as good as Dong Xing, and he and Lu, belonging to the crane tail of first-class clubs. After Li Jun's rise, he first planted a flag in Yau Ma Ti with his own sword, and then led the Crown Prince, Old Man B, and others to conquer New World, Number Gang, Liansheng, and Dongxing, and entered Sim Sha Sui in Causeway Bay, helping Hong Xing become the most popular club on Hong Kong Island. He even had a faint trend of questioning the underworld, and at the same time, he achieved the illustrious reputation of his mixed dragon Li Jun. However, Li Jun never imagined that he, who had made tremendous contributions to Hong Xing, did not wait for the position of the 3rd District spokesperson and 2nd Route Marshal promised by Jiang Tiansheng. Instead, he waited for betrayal. Li Jun, who was deceived into Siam by Jiang Tiansheng, was ambushed and sank into the sea in an iron bucket. If it weren't for the help of a doctor who had once saved his life by Li Jun, the name Hunjianglong would have disappeared forever on Hong Kong Island. After thoroughly integrating his memories, Li Jun is both the time traveler Li Jun and the river dragon Li Jun. Therefore, Jiang Tiansheng must repay his great kindness in person. The De Shao Xiong system has been bound. Does the host draw a beginner gift package? At this moment, a mysterious voice rang out in Li Jun's mind. Yes. Without hesitation for a moment, Li Jun silently recited. Congratulations to the host, you have drawn 3 random summoning character cards. Do you want to summon them? The mysterious voice rang out again. Summoning. Congratulations to the host. Wang Jianjun, the only, Wang Jiangwo, the only, and Gao Jin, the only, have been summoned. The host can summon characters at any time. Is it now available? The system sound is ringing again. Upon hearing this sentence from the system, a hint of joy flashed in Li Jun's eyes. Wang Jianjun, Wang Jiangwo, and Gao Jin were all ruthless people, especially Wang Jianjun and Gao Jin, who were both at the level of double flower red stick and were absolutely talented. No. It's not very convenient to transform into a living person here. What does the only meaning after summoning characters in the system mean? After rejecting the system's summoning of characters, Li Jun asked his own doubts. The only summoned character has uniqueness and cannot be resurrected. The system replied. Is there still a unique summoner? Li Jun immediately discovered Huadian. With Li Jun's question, a property panel appeared in his mind, and a burst of information also appeared in his mind. Name. Li Jun, Strength. 18, plus, normal person 10, Agility. 19, plus, normal person 10, Physical Fitness. 15, plus, normal person 10, Skills. Free Combat, Proficient, Title. Class Monitor, upgrading to the next level requires 10,000 system points, remaining system points. 0, remaining summoners. 0 out of 10, summoning characters. Wang Jianjun, unique, can be manifested, Wang Jiangwo, unique, can be manifested, Gao Jin, unique, can be manifested. According to the received information, Li Jun knows that the Owl Hero system can not only summon ruthless people like Wang Jianjun and Gao Jin, but also summon soldiers to enhance their own attributes. Li Jun's current title is Squad Leader, and he can summon 10 subordinates. After these subordinates die, they will not disappear like Wang Jianjun and others, but can continue to summon. At the same time, at the squad leader level, he can also obtain 10 free attribute points. With the increase of job title, the number of summoners can be increased, and freedom attribute points can be obtained. In other words, it can not only strengthen one's own strength, but also strengthen the power of one's subordinates. It's truly a powerful system, it's really amazing. Li Jun thought to himself. Just as Li Jun was about to continue exploring the Big Owl system, a fragrant breeze drifted in, and at the same time, a pleasant female voice entered his ears. Jun, are you really sure you want to go back to Hong Kong Island? The woman who spoke had a beautiful appearance, and her black silk qipao perfectly complemented her grace. No one would have thought that this ladylike woman would be a top military dealer in Nanyang. After Li Jun regained consciousness, he contacted his life-saving benefactor and told her that he wanted to return to Hong Kong Island. Doctor, 3 years ago, I brought my brothers to Siam for business, and they were in Bangkok. After completing the mission, we were about to leave, but we were ambushed by someone. One brother was imprisoned, and the other's life and death were uncertain. The two brothers, Jiang Tiansheng and Jiang Tianyang, thought they were doing it perfectly, but they didn't know. Their horse was so proud that they sold them. I worked hard for the club, but what I ended up with was this outcome. Doctor, can you tell me, should I go back to Hong Kong Island and personally seek justice from Jiang Tiansheng? Li Jun did not answer the doctor's question, but instead asked her a question in reverse. Then, before the doctor could speak, Li Jun continued, do you know what it feels like to be locked in an iron bucket and sink into the sea? Li Jun's expression was calm as he looked at the blue sea in front of him and said slowly, the pressure of the sea can make people gasp for breath, the brain is oxygen deficient, and people will have wild thoughts. Spending every second may be the last second of life, and fear will occupy every part of the body. Ah Jun, stop talking. Before Li Jun could finish his words, a soft and weak ball pressed against his back, and the doctor tightly embraced him, with a tone full of tenderness and reluctance. Although Li Jun did not directly answer her question, it was obvious that he had already told the doctor the answer. "Doctor, to breathe a sigh of life, there are certain things that must be done." Li Jun looked at the small boats floating on the sea and said slowly, word by word. "Ah Jun, I know I can't persuade you. I have prepared $3 million in cash for you, which you will definitely need on Hong Kong Island." The doctor whispered softly in Li Jun's ear. Then, before Li Jun could reply, the doctor turned his head to his younger brother, Long, and shouted, "Ah Long, bring the money over." After a moment, the doctor's younger brother Ah Long threw a black box in front of Li Jun and coldly snorted, "Humph, $3 million, do you deserve it?" At this moment, Ah Long's gaze at Li Jun was like that of a thief who stole his sister's heart. "Little brother, you go out." Seeing that Ah Long did not respect Li Jun, the doctor immediately scolded Ah Long. "Humph." Although Ah Long was very unhappy in his heart, when the doctor spoke, he could only snort coldly and turn around to leave. "Jun, Long doesn't know about our relationship." After Ah Long left, the doctor quickly explained to Li Jun, but before she could finish speaking, she was interrupted by Li Jun. "Doctor, there's no need to explain." Li Jun turned around and looked at the charming beauty in front of him. He smiled and said, "Doctor, this $3 million is something I borrowed from you." Upon hearing Li Jun's words, the doctor's pretty face showed a hint of disappointment, but at that moment, she heard Li Jun continue, "But doctor, I don't have money now, so I can only make a promise with my own life." The doctor was slightly stunned, but before he could speak, Li Jun blocked her mouth and took her into his arms. Soon, between heaven and earth, a pair of men and women used the sky as their bedding and the earth as their bedding, composing a chorus of life. 002, because he is a mixed river dragon named Li Jun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Late that night, at a pier in Siam. An extended Lincoln sedan parked on the embankment of the dock. "Jun, I regret not eating you earlier." In the car, the doctor snuggled up in Li Jun's arms, his fingers circled around his chest, his cheeks unusually rosy, his eyebrows and eyes filled with spring, and his whole body exuded the charming charm of a young woman. For a whole afternoon, Li Jun finally fed the doctor who had been empty for several years. Therefore, he focused all 10 free attribute points on physical attributes. Otherwise, with his body that has not been exercised for a long time, he really cannot withstand the doctor's long drought and rainy days. Although he used up 10 free attribute points, Li Jun was not at a loss. After receiving $3 million from the doctor, Li Jun discovered that the system points of the original Big Owl system could be exchanged for currency. Converting $20 or 200 Hong Kong dollars to a system point instantly made Li Jun realize that the value of a system point is actually 1 gram of gold. Without any hesitation, Li Jun exchanged $3 million for 150,000 system points and promoted his rank from squad leader to platoon leader with 10,000 system points. He once again gained 10 free attributes, as well as an opportunity to draw skills and summon characters. Li Jun has evenly added these 10 free attributes to his strength and agility, while his skills and summoning character Li Jun have not yet been drawn, as he has been doing his right thing all afternoon. And his panel has also undergone significant changes. Name: Li Jun, Strength. 22, Normal Person 10, Agility. 22, Normal Person 10, Physical Fitness. 22, Normal Person 10, Skills. Free Combat, Proficient, Title. Platoon Leader, upgrading to the next level requires 150,000 system points, remaining system points. 140,000, remaining summoners. 0/30, summoning characters. Wang Jianjun, unique, can be manifested. Wang Jiangwo, unique, can be manifested. Gao Jin, unique, can be manifested. The number of people that the platoon leader can summon has increased from 10 to 30, and there is an additional option for summoning objects. The platoon leader can only summon soldiers. After upgrading to platoon leader, not only can they summon soldiers, but they can also summon veterans. However, the price of veterans is much higher than that of soldiers. A soldier needs 100 system points to summon, while a veteran needs 300 system points to summon. In addition, Li Jun also found that when the body's attribute points exceed 20, only 2 free attribute points can increase his own attribute points. Isn't it, doctor? You don't even let a fool go. Upon hearing the doctor's words, Li Jun smiled and said. Before he regained consciousness, he was confused, and indeed he was similar to a fool. Fuck you. The doctor snorted and lightly punched Li Jun's chest, then said with a concerned expression, Jun, don't you really need me to send a few people to help you? Li Jun smiled slightly and looked out the car window, chuckling lightly, no need, my people have arrived. Dong dong dong, Li Jun's words had just fallen when a sound of knocking on the car window came through. After entering this dock, Li Jun appeared with Wang Jianjun, Wang Jiangwo, and Gao Jin, allowing them to step forward at this time. Junge. 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 After Li Jun opened the car door, Wang Jianjun, Wang Jiangwo, and Gao Jin immediately bowed to Li Jun and said hello. Summoning characters have independent personalities, thoughts, and emotions, just like normal people, but their loyalty to Li Jun is directly satisfied. Even if Li Jun asks them to commit suicide on the spot, they will not hesitate to carry out Li Jun's mission. Li Jun can trust them 100%. Don't be nervous, they are my people. Li Jun looked at Long, who had already gotten off the car from behind and pointed a gun at Gao Jin-san with a guarded face, and spoke calmly. Long, get in the car. After following Li Jun out of the car, the doctor first asked Long to get in, and then looked at Wang Jianjun, Wang Jiangwo, and Gao Jin. With just one glance, she understood that these 3 people were definitely not simple. However, she did not ask about the origins of the 3 of Li Jun. Being a top arms dealer in Southeast Asia, she was definitely a very intelligent woman. She was well aware that everyone had their own secrets, and if she could tell her, Li Jun would never hide them from her. Boss, the ship is here. At this moment, a doctor's horse ran to the side of the extended Lincoln's car and said to the doctor. Doctor, I won't say thank you for our relationship anymore. Please wait for my good news. After hearing the words of the young horse, Li Jun smiled and said to the doctor. Jun, no matter what happens to you on Hong Kong Island, remember, there will always be your home with me. The doctor looked at Li Jun with tenderness in his eyes. At this moment, she is no longer the decisive military crocodile, but a woman who refuses to let her man leave. Li Jun didn't speak, just lightly kissed the doctor's forehead, then turned around and left with Wang Jianjun, Wang Jiangwo, and Gao Jin each carrying 2 boxes, walking towards a dim yellow light on the pitch-black sea not far away. After Li Jun's figure completely disappeared into the night, the doctor said to his younger brother, Long, who walked beside him, Long, go home. Sister, what kind of magic does that Li Jun have that fascinates you like this? Why are you giving money and weapons? Long looked displeased and asked about the doubts he had hidden in his heart for a long time. In the boxes that Li Jun, Wang Jianjun, Wang Jiangwo, and Gao Jin carried away, there were 50 Glock 17 pistols, 50 Uzi submachine guns, and thousands of bullets worth several million Hong Kong dollars. If we add the $3 million that the doctor had lent to Li Jun before, the doctor would have given him nearly 30 million Hong Kong dollars. Why? Because he's my man. The doctor glanced at Long, dropped these words, and then sat back in the extended Lincoln sedan. However, she also added a sentence to her heart. Because he is Li Jun, a troublemaker. Humph. Upon hearing the doctor's answer, Long snorted angrily and looked towards the direction where Li Jun was leaving. He stomped his foot hard and then sat in the extended Lincoln sedan with a helpless expression on his face. Even reluctantly, the doctor's orders must be executed. On the other side, Li Jun, who was sitting on the illegal ferry, stood on the deck, looking towards the coast and muttered, "System, draw random skills and summon characters." Congratulations to the host for winning the master-level gambling technique. Congratulations to the host, the selected character is titled, Yu Xiu, the only one. Almost as soon as Li Jun finished silently reciting, the sound of the system rang out in his mind. Then, memories of gambling flooded out of his mind, and in a moment, Li Jun became a master of gambling. At this point, the system's voice came out again. "Host, is there a current seal for repair?" "No." Li Jun silently recited back. Li Jun was deeply impressed by this martial arts enthusiast who was known for his ability to distinguish between high and low, as well as his ability to withstand life and death. In terms of martial arts alone, he was ranked 2 points higher than Wang Jianjun and Gao Jin in terms of cultivation, making him an absolute top expert. However, there is no need to take the risk of being discovered by others as a great living person now that the equipment is sealed under repair. For the next 3 days, Li Jun spent his time on this illegal ferry. Finally, on the afternoon of the 3rd day, Li Jun, who had grown tired of seeing the endless ocean, saw the outline of a city at the junction of the sea and the sky. "For bosses, we're almost on Hong Kong Island. Get ready, we need to change boats and land now." A crew member on an illegal ferry walked up to Li Jun and others, saying with a smile. Li Jun nodded slightly at the crew member and then looked at the faint outline of the city on Hong Kong Island in the distance. He whispered to himself, "Hong Kong Island, I'm Li Jun back. Remember, Jiang Tiansheng, I want to live." You are listening at novelfull.audio. Late at night, Yao Ma Ti, Jingshi by mountain. Hong Kong Islanders prefer height, and the higher they live, the higher their status. Jingshi by Shan is one of the 3 major villa clusters in the Kowloon area. Although not as big as Kowloon Tong in terms of scale and not as wealthy as Mount Victoria in terms of wealth and status, those who can own a villa on the precious and valuable Jingshi by Shan in Yao Ma Ti are definitely considered either wealthy or wealthy. For example, Jiang Tiansheng, the head of Hongxing, is the owner of Villa 15 in Jingshibai. At this moment, inside the villa, Jiang Tiansheng was having a conversation with Hong Xing's white paper fan, Chen Yao. "Mr. Jiang, it has been confirmed that Ba Guan was taken down by Chen Haonan, a subordinate of Ah Bi. Chen Yao reports on Jiang Tiansheng. Ah Bi is fortunate to have such a capable brother under his command, Chen Haonan, right? Tell Ah Bi to bring Chen Haonan to see me tomorrow." Upon hearing Chen Yao's words, Jiang Tiansheng said calmly. "Okay, Mr. Jiang." Chen Yao nodded slightly, then hesitated to speak. "Io, just say whatever you have." Jiang Tiansheng saw it and spoke directly. "Mr. Jiang, I heard the news that Zhou Long has returned to Hong Kong Island, but he is currently only working in an ice shop and is said to be withdrawing from the martial arts world." Chen Yao then spoke up. "Zhou Dragon. Exiting the martial arts world. His big shot mixed with Jiang Dragon has already hit the streets. If he doesn't exit the martial arts world, he won't be able to cause any trouble." Upon hearing the 3 words, 9-striped dragon, Jiang Tiansheng's face slightly changed and he said coldly. Li Jun once roamed Hong Kong Island with 4 capable generals, known as the 4 Great Vitras, and the 9-striped dragon promise was one of them. Before Chen Yao could speak, Jiang Tiansheng continued, "Io, find a way to deal with the 9-striped dragon." Okay, Mr. Jiang, I understand what you mean." After hearing Jiang Tiansheng's words, Chen Yao was slightly stunned, and after a moment, he regained his senses and spoke back. He never expected that Jiang Tiansheng would be so wary of Li Jun, even if Li Jun had been missing for 3 years, or even if Li Jun's former confidant Zhou Long had withdrawn from the martial arts world, he would kill him to the death. "Io, come out and hang out. You can't be soft-hearted." "It seems that I saw Chen Yao's thoughts," Jiang Tiansheng said calmly. "Understood." Chen Yao's face changed slightly and he quickly responded. Jiang Tiansheng let out a and waved his hand, indicating that Chen Yao could leave. Jiang Tiansheng, I'll say goodbye first. Chen Yao clearly understood Jiang Tiansheng very well and immediately stood up to bid farewell. Li Jun, don't blame me. If you want to blame me, blame you for being too sharp back then. Watching Chen Yao leave behind, Jiang Tiansheng whispered to himself. When Li Jun was born and planted a flag in Yao Ma Ti, Jiang Tiansheng genuinely wanted to praise him. After all, as the leader of Hong Xing, the stronger Hong Xing, the higher his status. However, Jiang Tiansheng never expected that Li Jun would be so fierce. The joint efforts of Xing, Hao Gang, He Liansheng, Dong Xing, and he and Lu couldn't suppress him, and Li Jun took down the oily land of Tsim Sha Sui in Causeway Bay. From that moment on, Li Jun was no longer seen as a right-hand man in Jiang Tiansheng's eyes, but as a thorn in his side and a thorn in his flesh. 5 clubs working together cannot suppress him. If Li Jun has been developing for a few years, then Hong Xing will not be surnamed Jiang, but rather Li. For Jiang Tiansheng, the surname Hong Xing is 10,000 times more important than Hong Xing becoming the top club on Hong Kong Island. Therefore, without any hesitation, he directly took action, plotted against Li Jun, and then wiped out his influence. Although Jiang Tiansheng does not admit it, Li Jun is the shadow he fears the most in his heart, so even the 9-striped dragon who is preparing to withdraw from the martial arts world will not be let go. At this moment, Jiang Tiansheng would never have dreamed that the shadow he feared the most had returned to Hong Kong Island, and he was in Mount Jingshi. After landing, Li Jun immediately appeared as Feng Yuxiu and spent 9,000 system points summoning 30 veterans, heading straight to the Jingshibai mountain where Jiang Tiansheng was located. Remember, Jiang Tiansheng, I want to live. After listening to Li Jun's instructions, Wang Jianjun, Wang Jiangwo, and Gao Jin disappeared into the darkness of Mount Jingshi with 30 veterans. On the other hand, after meeting Chen Yao, Jiang Tiansheng lay down in the bathtub on the 2nd floor and took a bath. He loved to listen to music while taking a bath, which allowed him to relax and think better. While he was taking a bath, a one-sided killing was taking place inside his villa. Faced with fully armed Gao Jin, Wang Jianjun, Wang Jiangwo, and 30 veterans, the bodyguards of Jiang Tiansheng's villa had no strength to fight back, and they were all killed without even warning Jiang Tiansheng. When Gao Jin led a servant into the bathroom, Jiang Tiansheng was still closing his eyes and recuperating. Jiang Tiansheng. Upon hearing someone shout at him, Jiang Tiansheng suddenly opened his eyes and a young man in a straight suit with a slick back appeared in his sight. Are you? Before Jiang Tiansheng could finish speaking, he was knocked unconscious by Gao Jin's kick. Then, Gao Jin twisted the neck of the servant in his hand, carrying Jiang Tiansheng out of the bathroom like a chick. Meanwhile, in the living room of the villa, Wang Jianjun picked up the phone and dialed the number 999. Is it the Hong Kong Island Police Force? There has been a gunfight at Villa 15, Kings Park. Please send someone over quickly. After the phone was connected, Wang Jianjun spoke directly and hung up without waiting for a response. He then left the villa with Gao Jin, who was carrying Jiang Tiansheng. With the departure of Gao Jin and others, the villa soon fell into a state of silence. Mr. Jiang, if you sink me into the sea, I will send you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't know how long it took, but Jiang Tiansheng was awakened by a basin of cold water. After taking a few quick breaths, he didn't care if he wasn't wearing a single strand now and immediately observed his surroundings. I saw iron walls all around, and a dim yellow tungsten filament lamp was the only light source in this space. Through the slightly shaking ground, Jiang Tiansheng judged that he was on a ship. I am Jiang Tiansheng, the leader of Hongxing. I don't know which friend I am from. This time, I admit defeat. If you want money or anything, just speak up. After pondering for a few seconds, Jiang Tiansheng regained his composure and shouted loudly. Since I have already been kidnapped, the best way to deal with it now is to understand the other party's purpose and protect myself. Mr. Jiang, long time no see. Are you moved to see me? Just as Jiang Tiansheng was lost in thought, a voice that had been imprinted in his memory came to his ears. At the moment of hearing this voice, a hint of suspicion flashed in Jiang Tiansheng's eyes. But then, the appearance of a man turned his suspicion into fear. Li Jun, you. How could it be? Jiang Tiansheng looked at Li Jun standing in front of him with a surprised expression on his face. Mr. Jiang. Li Jun walked up to Jiang Tiansheng, smiled slightly, and whispered, I have returned from hell. Ah Jun, you haven't appeared in 3 years, and everyone thinks you're dead. I'm so happy to see that you're okay now. Jiang Tiansheng is truly a hero of his generation. After a brief moment of shock, he immediately reacted, with a hint of joy in his eyes. At this moment, his acting skills were comparable to those of an Oscar-winning actor. Ah Jun, why don't you say hello in advance when you're going back to Hong Kong Island? Is there any misunderstanding with me? Before Li Jun could speak, Jiang Tiansheng continued. Although the hope was slim, Jiang Tiansheng still wanted to bet that Li Jun didn't know what he was doing. Unfortunately, Li Jun's words plunged Jiang Tiansheng's heart to the bottom. Mr. Jiang, you are still so hypocritical. Li Jun smiled slightly and said, 3 years ago, you didn't dare to show up. You wanted me to be a confused ghost, but unfortunately, human calculations are not as good as fate. Jiang Tianyang's subordinates have unreliable mouths. However, I really admire you. With such a capable subordinate like me, you have the courage to say, kill. Li Jun, draw a line. What do you want? Seeing hope shattered, Jiang Tiansheng was no longer acting and stared at Li Jun, slowly speaking. Mr. Jiang, what I want is very simple, just 2 words, fairness. Speaking of which, Li Jun paused slightly, looked down at Jiang Tiansheng, and smiled, saying, 3 years ago, you sank me into the sea. Today, I'll take you swimming. Isn't that fair? Li Jun, killing me is deceiving my teacher and destroying my ancestors. Everyone in Hongxing will be punished. Upon hearing that Li Jun was going to take him swimming, Jiang Tiansheng glared at Li Jun and shouted loudly. Ha ha ha! Jiang Tiansheng's words made Li Jun burst into laughter, and then his laughter abruptly came to an end. Jiang Tiansheng, deceiving his master and destroying his ancestors, are you also worthy of betraying your brothers? Li Jun, you. Jiang Tiansheng had just spoken when Gao Jin, who had already walked up to him, wrapped his mouth in tape and could only stare at Li Jun. Then, Li Jun watched as if enjoying a movie, watching Jiang Tiansheng struggling and being stuffed into an iron bucket by Feng Yuxiu and Gao Jin. Jiang Tiansheng, the pressure at the bottom of the sea is very high. I will seal the lid a bit later. At most, it will take 5 minutes, and you will suffocate to death. Li Jun walked to the iron bucket, looked down at Jiang Tiansheng, and said with a smile. Woo! Jiang Tiansheng looked at Li Jun with resentment in his eyes. Mr. Jiang, don't worry, your younger brother Jiang Tianyang will come to accompany you soon. Also, I will take good care of Hong Xing from your Jiang family. Li Jun smiled slightly, and then in Jiang Tiansheng's desperate gaze, he covered the iron lid on the opening of the iron bucket. A few minutes later. With a thud, an iron bucket was kicked into the pitch-black sea by Li Jun, causing a splash of water and ripples to ripple on the surface of the sea. Chiang Kai-shek, a generation of gangsters on Hong Kong Island, was born dead here. Dee. At this moment, the BB machine in Li Jun's pocket made a noise. Li Jun took out his BB and scanned the screen, only to see a line of words flashing on the screen. 7 Sisters Dao Jin Fu Gui Nightclub. As former heroes of Hong Kong and Kowloon, Li Jun's subordinates naturally had a wealth of talents. De Fei, Tsun Wang, from Longhu Portland Street, Zhouwen Longwen Nua Yen, from Kowloon Ice House, and Yi Qiu, from Skywalker, are all good brothers who followed Li Jun from 49Z to Yao Ma Ti, where they fought into Tsim Sha Sui in Causeway Bay. They are also known as the Four Great Kings, under Li Jun's command in the streets. 3 years ago, Li Jun took Zhouwen Long and Yi Qiu to Siam to handle affairs, while De Fei and Cun Wang were left by him to manage the territory on Hong Kong Island. De Fei was responsible for Wan Chai and Causeway Bay on this side of Hong Kong Island, while Cun Wang was responsible for Yao Ma Ti and Tsim Sha Sui in Kowloon. Unfortunately, after Li Jun was assassinated by Jiang Tiansheng in collaboration with Jiang Tiansheng, his 4 major Kong warriors were also not in good shape. Yi Qiu was arrested in Siam, and Zhouwen Long fled back to Hong Kong Island, where he was punished and suppressed by Jiang Tiansheng on the pretext of punishment. Finally, he had no choice but to cross the Eastern Star. Tsun Wang was even assassinated by the person in charge of Dongxing Portland Street, Madman Hui. The last of the 4 great Vajras, De Fei, was tightly suppressed by Jiang Tiansheng in the Seven Sisters Road. Fortunately, he was clever and did not give Jiang Tiansheng a chance to survive until now. It can be said that Jiang Tiansheng was very successful in eliminating Li Jun's influence. Unfortunately, he encountered a hooker who didn't follow the usual routine and sent him swimming in the Victoria Strait. At this moment, the Seven Sisters Road Jinfugi nightclub, displayed on Li Jun's BB, is where De Fei is currently located. Let's go to the East District. Looking at the already calm sea, Li Jun said calmly. Sending Jiang Tiansheng to swim is just the first step of Li Jun's plan, and there are still many things he needs to do next. Hello, old friends of Hongxing Society. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just as Li Jun was escorting Jiang Tiansheng swimming in the Victoria Strait, news of him being kidnapped in his villa quickly spread due to Wang Jianjun's call to the police. That night, as planned by Li Jun, the entire Hong Kong underworld, including most of Hong Kong Island, was in chaos. All the people at the entrance of Hong Xing's hall are mobilized, speaking out to the outside world. No matter what the cost is, even if it is to overturn Hong Kong Island, they must rescue their own dragon head. At this time, Seven Sisters Road in the Eastern District of Hong Kong Island. The former Seven Sisters Road was known throughout Hong Kong as the first nightclub in the Far East, the Li Chi Garden nightclub. Although with the passage of time, the Li Chi Garden nightclub has long closed down, and Seven Sisters Road no longer has the scenery of the 1950s and 1960s, it is still a treasure trove of entertainment on Hong Kong Island, with more than a dozen nightclubs standing on both sides of less than 2 kilometers of the road. Among them, there is a private room in a nightclub called Jin Fugui. Hong Xing's person in charge at Seven Sisters Road, De Fei, is busy making handmade milk tea with the sister next to him. De Fei produces the tea while the sister produces the ingredients. Fij, the dragon head, has been kidnapped, and now the whole club is looking for people outside. Do our people also want to move? A young horse walked up to De Fei and whispered in his ear. Cut. De Fei heard his horse's words and disdainfully cut it. He picked up the beer in front of him and took a sip before saying, "Come on, I'll test you. What is the purpose of kidnappers binding people for?" "For money." Ma Zai replied with some uncertainty. "You know, it's good. The kidnappers don't kidnap people for money, but for other benefits. We'll just wait for the news from the kidnappers. With Hong Kong Island so big, going out now is like a headless fly looking for people. I'm afraid I can't even find a single strand of hair. What a fool." De Fei rolled his eyes and then hugged the pretty girl next to him, ready to handcraft milk tea. "But Fij." The young man wanted to persuade, but just as he spoke, he was interrupted by someone beside him. "Stop talking, Fij has been suppressed by the club for 3 years and has been holding back his anger. Now that the dragon head has been kidnapped, he hasn't set off firecrackers to celebrate. If you still want him to help find someone, don't make him angry. Ma Zai suddenly remembered that he had also heard of the club deliberately pressuring De Fei not to rise to the top. Otherwise, with De Fei's strength and contribution to the club, not to mention being a top fit person, he would at least have to work hard and become a big red stick. Fei Gu. At this moment, another horse quickly ran into the private room and shouted loudly. Damn it, what's up? De Fei, who is making handmade milk tea, looks unhappy. Fei Gu, there's a person named Li Jun looking for you outside, he. Before Ma Zai could finish speaking, he saw De Fei standing up and rushing out of the private room at the speed of a 100-meter race. Damn his mother, how much money does this guy named Li Jun owe Fij, making him so excited? Watching the figure of De Fei about to take off, the young horse muttered to himself. At this moment, Li Jun was sitting on the dance floor of the nightclub, with Feng Yuxiu and Gao Jin standing behind him, exuding an aura of, keep away from strangers, all over his body, causing a small, vacuum zone, to appear in the originally crowded nightclub hall. Junge. Looking at the familiar face in front of him, De Fei became ecstatic after a brief moment of dullness, shouting and rushing towards Li Jun, clearly intending to give him a big hug. Damn it, don't do this. Unfortunately, De Fei's passionate embrace was directly dodged by Li Jun. Jun, you don't know how much I've missed you in the past 3 years. De Fei looked at Li Jun and said with a hint of resentment. Damn your mother, Da Fei, do you believe that I'll send you to Siam for transgender? Looking at De Fei's expression, Li Jun laughed and cursed. Jun, I miss you too much. De Fei's face was full of smiles. Da Fei, these 3 years have been hard for you. After listening to De Fei's words, Li Jun's smile narrowed and he placed his hands on De Fei's shoulders, speaking solemnly. Junge, I'm not working hard, it's just that I didn't hold on to Causeway Bay. The 9-striped dragon and the Inch King are also. De Fei's face darkened and he said, Jun, I want to help them, but Jiang Tiansheng is keeping a close eye on them and I can't even help. Fei, there's no need to explain, I know. Before De Fei could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Li Jun. Because De Fei was suppressed by Jiang Tiansheng for 3 years, Li Jun came to find him. He patted De Fei's shoulder and said calmly, Don't worry, I'm back now. Looking at Li Jun with a confident expression, De Fei's eyes were filled with admiration and respect. This was his big brother, also his backbone. Hunjianglong, Li Jun. Ringing bell. At this moment, a bell rang in De Fei's pocket. De Fei took out a big phone from his pocket, but he didn't press the answer button. Instead, he pressed the answer button only after seeing Li Jun nod. Which one? De Fei asked directly. After receiving a response, Da Fei first whispered Chen Yao to Li Jun before continuing to speak loudly, Brother Yao, what's up? At the Tuati Kaitenku conference. Brother Yao, I'm just a 49, how can I qualify to participate in the conference? De Fei was targeted by Jiang Tiansheng for 3 years, and among them, Chen Yao plotted against him. Therefore, when he heard that Chen Yao asked De Fei to attend the Hongxing Tanko conference in Tuati, he immediately became suspicious. However, after seeing Li Jun nod and instruct him, De Fei immediately changed his tone and said, Okay, Brother Yao, I'll give you face. After speaking, De Fei hung up the phone directly. Junge, Chen Yao must be holding the audience meeting now because of Jiang Tiansheng's kidnapping. You asked me to participate in this audience meeting. Speaking of which, De Fei seemed to realize something, his eyes suddenly lit up. Let's go, Da Fei. I haven't seen many old friends in the club for a long time, and I still wonder about them. Li Jun did not give De Fei a clear reply. After throwing down this sentence, he turned around and walked towards the nightclub gate with Gao Jin and Feng Yuxiu. De Fei, with a look of surprise on his face, followed behind Li Jun. At this moment, he had a bold guess in his mind that made him feel shocking. After the figures of Li Jun and others disappeared outside the nightclub gate, the flying horse began to discuss in a low voice. What's the origin of this handsome guy, so imposing? His name seems to be Li Jun. The horse who spoke to De Fei immediately replied. Li Jun, Li Jun. After reciting Li Jun twice in silence, a horse boy's face showed a hint of shock. Wang, what kind of expression are you? Is Li Jun very famous? Why haven't you heard of it? Next to this horse, another horse asked with a puzzled expression on his face. 3 years may not be long, but it is also enough to make a person lose all their radiance. After all, in 3 years, those who walk faster in the ancient puzzle have all directly fallen into the cemetery mountain. Mixed river dragon Li Jun, it turns out he hasn't died. Wang ignored the man beside him and murmured to himself. Then, he looked fiercely at the entrance of the nightclub and slowly said in the direction of Li Jun's departure, the mixed dragon is back, Hong Kong Island is going to change again. The Hongxing Jingwu Hall located in Central is the land of Hongxing. Here, there are enshrined the ancestors of Hongmen and the founder of Hongxing society, Jiang Zhen, as well as the heroes who have made great contributions to Hongxing. Whenever a major event occurs, Hong Xing must convene the fitting people from each hall to hold a hall meeting here. The incident of Jiang Tiansheng being kidnapped is no exception. After receiving this news, Chen Yao first mobilized the people of Hong Xing's various halls to find people, and then convened a meeting with the fitting people from each hall. At such times, his club's white paper fan needs to be more careful, as it would be troublesome if someone accused him of using the opportunity to seize power. At this moment, in the Hongxing Jingwu Hall, almost all the fit people at the entrances of Hongxing's halls have arrived, and everyone is discussing. As I said, we should post to all the clubs on Hong Kong Island, asking them to come together and find Mr. Jiang. At the mouth of Hongxing West Ring Hall, a fit person named Silky splashed saliva everywhere while speaking. Chen Yao, who was sitting not far from him, frowned and didn't know if it was bothering Silky's saliva or what he was saying. Damn it, Brother G, have you been fooling around with the dog for so many years? Making such a big fuss, isn't it forcing the kidnappers to tear up tickets? According to me, even Hong Xing can't move. Wait for the kidnappers to contact us and make conditions. As soon as Silky's words fell, the person in charge of the North Point Hall's conversation, Fat Old Li, immediately spoke up to refute. Shit, Fat Guy Li, I think you're being careful, right? Silly G asked in a strange tone. Damn it, your mother, silly, what do you mean by him? The fat guy suddenly became angry. Alright, Uncle Li and Brother G, Mr. Jiang's life and death are uncertain now. We can't just cause chaos ourselves. Seeing that Fat Guy Li and Silly G were about to start, Chen Yao quickly became a mediator. Yao Gu is right. The club cannot engage in internal strife. As soon as Chen Yao finished speaking, a slightly hoarse voice immediately sounded. The speaker was none other than Liang Kuan, a fit person from Hongxing Mong Kok Hall. He only heard his tone change and said, however, the country cannot be without a ruler for a day, and the family cannot be without a master for a day. Mr. Jiang has been kidnapped, and we Hongxing are leaderless. Everyone has no backbone, and panic is normal. Liang Kuan, what do you mean? Mr. Jiang has been kidnapped and his life and death are uncertain. Are you still planning to seize the throne? Before Liang Kuan could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Big Boss B. Brother B, don't say so harshly. What is Mao Chao usurping the throne? I'm also doing it for the good of the club. Liang Kuan stared at Boss B and said in a gloomy tone. For the good of the club. Liang Kuan, what do you think? You know it in your own heart. Obviously, Big Boss B doesn't even believe a punctuation mark in Liang Kuan's defense. Chen Yao's eyes were full of fatigue and helplessness when he looked at the people in front of him who were fighting and making a mess. If it weren't for his awkward situation as a white paper fan, he would never have wanted to hold this meeting, but there was no way. As Jiang Tiansheng's absolute confidant, Chen Yao understood that he must stand up at this moment and bring this hall meeting back on track. After taking a few deep breaths, Chen Yao was about to speak when suddenly a familiar voice came from the door. Wow, it's so lively. What are you talking about? Can you tell me too? 006, Li Jun. The whole Hongxing, I'm standing. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Central, Hongxing Jingwu Hall. Damn his mother, that street thug is big or small. Liang Kuan, who was furious at being scolded by Boss B, seemed to have found a way to vent his anger. However, when he saw the person coming, his eyes widened as if he had been choked by someone's neck, and he was instantly dumbfounded, stunned on the spot. Not only Liang Kuan, but almost everyone in the venue looked at the young man who walked into the venue with a shocked expression. It's Li Jun. Different from Dafei's Ma Chai, those who can be in this restaurant are all Hongxing's old fogies. Even if they are not the foundation of the society, they are at least Ma Chai, the confidants of the people who have won the fight. Naturally, they all know Li Jun, Hongxing's most reclusive red stick in history. Ah Yao, Ah Bi, Crown Prince, Ji Gu, Uncle Li, long time no see. Li Jun's face was full of smiles, as if he was really greeting his old friend. Junge. The Crown Prince stood up abruptly and looked at Li Jun, stuttering as he replied. The fitting people present are among the ones who the Crown Prince knows Li Jun the most. 3 years ago, he followed Li Jun to Tsim Sha Sui, and no one knew better than him that Li Jun had dopaminergic tendencies. Meanwhile, Big Boss B and Chen Yao had a slightly cold expression, staring at Li Jun as if wanting to see through the purpose behind his appearance at the moment. Ah Jun, why don't you say hello in advance when you're back? Let the brothers take care of you. After a brief surprise, Silky's face showed a brilliant smile, as if Li Jun was his own brother. Ha ha ha, Junge, I admire you so much that Liang Kuan has long wanted to get to know you. I don't know which street thug said you died in Siam. If you want me to know which curse you are, I will be the first to kill him. At this moment, Liang Kuan also looked at Li Jun and smiled to please him. For Li Jun ignoring himself, Liang Kuan was naturally very angry, but the name, Hunjianglong Li Jun, was too well known. Liang Kuan knew that if he could win over Li Jun, his chances of becoming the leader of Hongxing would greatly increase. In the past 3 years, Liang Kuan has made a lot of money by selling fans, and his influence has increased rapidly, which naturally caught the attention and suppression of Jiang Tiansheng. Because Hong Xing does not allow the sale of fans, many of the goods in Liang Kuan's hands are scattered through Baguan. Jiang Tiansheng used the name of the club to ask Chen Haonan to kill Baguan, which is undoubtedly his means, with the aim of cutting off Liang Kuan's financial path. A few hours ago, Liang Kuan was still mourning his good brother Baguan in the morgue of Yaomati police station, while also venting his anger. At the same time, he also made a secret determination to sit in the position of Hong Xing's leader. And Jiang Tiansheng was suddenly kidnapped. In Liang Kuan's eyes, it was all heaven helping him, but he didn't expect that Li Jun, who had disappeared for 3 years, would appear tonight. However, Li Jun also ignored Liang Kuan's goodwill and walked straight to the seat in the middle of the hall, which was also the only available seat. In the astonishment of everyone in the room, he sat down. This seat, previously only one person could sit in Hongxing, that person's name was Jiang Tiansheng. Li Jun, do you dare to sit at the position of the dragon head? Seeing Li Jun sitting in Jiang Tiansheng's position, the mountain chicken standing behind Big Boss B couldn't hold back and shouted directly. Originally, Chen Haonan, Shan Ji, and others were drinking and celebrating after killing Baguan. However, they were suddenly caught by Boss B to accompany him in a meeting. They were already half drunk, and before Chen Haonan could react, Shan Ji blurted out his words. Ah B, is that what you mean? Li Jungen didn't pay attention to the mountain chicken, but looked at Big Boss B with a slightly off color and asked with a smile. Shanji, shut up. You don't have the right to speak here. Apologize to Junge quickly. Boss B immediately turned his head and shouted to the mountain chicken. With the credit of Li Jun, even if Jiang Tiansheng was present, he wouldn't argue with Li Jun on the spot, let alone a young chicken who dares to give Li Jun a face. The most crucial thing is that Jiang Tiansheng's front foot went missing, while Li Jun's back foot appeared, which is too strange. The people present, including Big Brother B, are old fogies who have been in the Jianghu for many years. No one wants to catch Li Jun's fire until they know his details. Brother B, I. Upon hearing Big Boss B's words, Shanji looked aggrieved. However, just as he spoke, he was interrupted by Big Boss B and said, Shanji, I want you to apologize to Junge. Hey, B, forget it. People who don't know think I'm bullying you. Li Jun smiled and waved his hands to the big shot B, then his face narrowed, as if he was talking to the mountain chicken, and also seemed to be saying to everyone in the room, mountain chicken, right? I'll tell you, if I stand, everyone sitting here, including your big shot, must stand. Junge is right. You are the first hero of Hongxing. Even if Mr. Jiang is here, he won't say a word about you. However, Junge, now that Mr. Jiang has been kidnapped, Hong Xing must come up with a response plan as soon as possible. Look. Chen Yao is clearly still working hard to bring this Tanko meeting back on track. Don't worry. I'll talk about 3 things when I come today, and then I'll leave. Li Jun did not give Chen Yao the opportunity to change the topic and spoke directly. The first thing is that 3 years ago, I won Sim Sha Sui and Causeway Bay, and the club promised me to be the second route marshal. Should I fulfill it? Upon hearing Li Jun's words, Chen Yao's face changed slightly. After pondering for a moment, he spoke back and said, Jun, the club agreed to you. But now that Mr. Jiang has been kidnapped and there is no leader in charge, who is qualified to be promoted to your position. The second marshal is the highest ranking position in the entire organization, except for the leader. Although it is usually a virtual position for elderly care of the uncles in the club, if this second marshal has strength, adding strength to his position is not as simple as 1 + 1. Moreover, now that Jiang Tiansheng has been kidnapped, if Li Jun were to become the second marshal at this time. Chen Yao felt terrifying thinking about it, so he immediately chose to procrastinate. Regarding Chen Yao's answer, Li Jun had anticipated it and did not hesitate. He continued, the second thing is that Causeway Bay and Sim Sha Sui are the territories I have taken down. I was not here before, so there is no problem managing the club temporarily. Now that I am back, should I return them to their rightful owners? Originally, Chen Yao breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that Li Jun was not entangled in the matter of the second marshal. However, what Li Jun said next made his heart tremble. Causeway Bay and Sim Sha Sui are valuable places, and the Crown Prince and Big Boss B have been in business for many years. Even if Jiang Tiansheng speaks up, the Crown Prince and Big Boss B may not let go. Jun, it's true that you won Sim Sha Sui in Causeway Bay, but the club has also made efforts. So, I can let you manage some venues, Jun. How about that? Sure enough, after Li Jun's words fell, the Crown Prince immediately spoke back. In the eyes of the Crown Prince, it is the utmost benevolence and righteousness to allow a portion of the venue to be given to Li Jun. Although Sim Sha Sui was conquered by Li Jun, it is now his Crown Prince's territory. Another related figure, Big Boss B, watched coldly as he knew that since Li Jun had mentioned this matter, he would never let the Crown Prince handle it so easily. Sure enough, Li Jun ignored the Crown Prince's words, glanced at the watch on his wrist, and said calmly, it's 4:20 now. Crown Prince and B, I'll give you a day to free up the venue. My people will go to receive these venues tonight at 12 o'clock. Then, before the Crown Prince and Boss B could respond, Li Jun looked at 13 sisters and said, the third thing is that 13 sisters, the King of Inch was assassinated by the madman Hui of the Eastern Star. As the new fit man on Portland Street, you have a responsibility to avenge King of Inch. I'll give you 2 days. Tomorrow night before midnight, I need to see the body of madman Hui, otherwise you won't be qualified to be a fit man on Portland Street. After saying these words, Li Jun slowly stood up, looked around the crowd, and then left with Da Fei straight away. He did not warn, let alone threaten, just like municipal officials notifying citizens to pay water and electricity bills. It is only natural and natural, it is only natural. 007, Jiang Tian can't take care of Hong Kong Island, how can I make? You are listening at novelfull.audio. June, did you push Chen Yao, the Crown Prince, and Big Boss B too hard? After leaving Hongxing Jingwu Hall, Li Jun and Da Fei got into a sedan. In the car, Da Fei hesitated and finally asked about his confusion. He doesn't think that Chen Yao, the Crown Prince, or Big Boss B will be Li Jun's opponents, but after all, Li Jun has been missing for 3 years. In Da Fei's view, it is better to accumulate strength after a period of hibernation, and there is no need to turn against Chen Yao and his gang now. Da Fei, do you know who caused me trouble in Siam 3 years ago? Li Jun did not answer Da Fei, but asked in reverse. Jun, you. Upon hearing Li Jun's question, Da Fei's expression stiffened, indicating that he had already guessed the answer. However, before Da Fei could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Li Jun, saying, in the eyes of the Jiang family, the surname Jiang of Hongxing is much more important than Hongxing's strength. In Hongxing, there is no success or fame, only high achievements and power. After speaking, Li Jun turned his head to look at Da Fei and smiled slightly. If we don't force them a little tighter, how could they be willing to invite Jiang Tiansheng out of the mountain? No one wants someone to be in charge of him. What Li Jun needs to do is to force Chen Yao and Big Boss B to invite Jiang Tiansheng to Hong Kong Island. After all, in Siam, Jiang Tiansheng was protected by warlords and drug lords, and it would take some effort to deal with him. If he came to Hong Kong Island, it would be a piece of meat on Li Junsai's plate, to be chopped at will. At this moment, Da Fei completely understood Li Jun's idea that he was going to exterminate the Jiang family. Sure enough, it's tough enough. Enough. However, Da Fei has no loyalty to the Jiang family at all. In his heart, there is only one big shot, Li Jun. Da Fei, from now on, Causeway Bay will be taken care of by you, and it will be treated as compensation for the grievances you have suffered over the past 3 years. Li Jun continued. It is true to force Chen Yao, Big Boss B, and others to invite Jiang Tiansheng out of the mountains, and it is also true to take over the territory of Causeway Bay and Tsim Sha Tsui. For Li Junlai, revenge is important, and making money is equally important. With the Xiaoxiong system in place, as long as there is money, Li Jun has everything. Da Fei, you still have Zhouwen Dragon, Yi Qiu, and Cun Wang. I owe you something, I must repay it. Li Jun said slowly, word by word. Jun, you never owe us anything. Da Fei's eyes were full of emotion. Li Jun smiled slightly, closed his eyes, and said lightly, take me to the Kowloon ice room at 8 o'clock and wake me up. On the other side. After Li Jun left, the Hongxing Jingwu Hall fell into a brief silence. The 3 things he mentioned, if it were someone else, Hongxing and everyone would only be a joke, but the speaker was Li Jun, that would be different. Even if he has been missing for 3 years, who can guarantee that he will not have any backers if he can conquer the legendary past of the 5 major clubs on his own? Who could have thought he was just putting on a show? Moreover, Li Jun's demands were reasonable, even the Crown Prince, Big Boss B, and 13 sisters who were riding on his face did not dare to refute Li Jun on the spot. A few minutes later, Chen Yao spoke up and said, everyone, I think what Ah Kun just said is right. A country cannot be without a ruler for a day, and a family cannot be without a master for a day. Upon hearing Chen Yao's words, everyone present had a slight change in their eyes, especially Liang Kun, whose eyes suddenly lit up. Then Chen Yao continued, according to Hong Xing's rules, as long as there is still one member of the Jiang family, Hong Xing's surname is Jiang. Now Mr. Jiang has been kidnapped, but his younger brother Jiang Tiansheng is still in Siam. I propose to ask Jiang Tiansheng to step out of the mountain and temporarily replace Hong Xing as the leader. Just now, Li Jun's strong pressure made Qinyao feel a bit suffocated, and it also made him understand one thing. His club, the white paper fan, speaks and farts without a support. This led Qinyao to make the decision to welcome Jiang Tiansheng to Hong Kong Island as the leader of Hong Kong's Hong Kong revitalization. In this way, Qinyao, as a minister of the dragon, can continue to shine in the club. I agree with Brother Yao's proposal. I also agree. Almost as Qinyao words fell, Big Boss B and the Crown Prince spoke up. As long as the Jiang family is the leader, they will not want to see a strong Li Jun. As long as Jiang Tiansheng agrees to be the leader of Hongxing, he will be the natural ally of Big Boss B and the Crown Prince to fight against Li Jun. However, upon hearing the words of Boss B and the Crown Prince, Liang Kuan's face became very ugly. I agree too. 13 sisters also spoke in agreement. After 13 sisters nodded, Han Bin and the brother dinosaur immediately nodded in agreement with Qinyao's proposal. The whole Hong Kong island knows that Hong Xing's surname is Jiang, and the rules are the rules. I also agree to ask Jiang Tiansheng to leave the mountain. Silky also spoke up. As Silky finished speaking, except for Liang Kuan, all the other 12 fitting people present agreed to invite Jiang Tiansheng out of the mountain. Being able to become a fit person at the entrance of the hall, everyone is a human spirit, and they all understand the same principle. Li Jun is strong and will definitely praise his own people, while Jiang Tiansheng is an outsider who is unfamiliar with Hong Kong Island. To secure a leading position, he still needs to rely on these elderly people. At this moment, everyone present turned their gaze to the only one who had not yet spoken, Liang Kuan. Damn it, what am I doing? You've all agreed. What's the point of having my ticket? Liang Kuan's face turned pale with iron. After throwing away this sentence, he didn't care about anything else and turned around to leave. Okay, since there are no other objections, I'll set off for Siam tomorrow and ask Jiang Tiansheng to come out of the mountain. After Qinyao finished speaking, he looked at Big Boss B and the Crown Prince again and continued, B and the Crown Prince, Mr. Jiang trusted the two of you the most before. The matter of his kidnapping will be temporarily entrusted to you too. After we return to Hong Kong Island, the new leader will make a decision. Although Qinyao has no vested interests with the Tycoon B and the Crown Prince, all three were personally promoted by Jiang Tiansheng and belonged to the royalist faction, making them natural allies. Okay. Okay. Boss B and the Crown Prince immediately agreed. Okay, let's break up then. After Qinyao finished speaking these words, he turned around and walked towards the back hall, while the other members of the guild also left one after another. However, after leaving the guild hall and getting into his Mercedes-Benz sedan, Big Boss B did not rush back to Causeway Bay. Instead, he waited for 5 minutes before returning to Hongxing Jingwu Hall. B, sit down. As Big Boss B thought, Qinyao and the Crown Prince were already waiting for him here. Brother Yao, B, as a human being, I'm in a hurry. Let me be blunt. Li Jun is so urgent. What do you plan to do? Before Big Boss B could sit down, the Crown Prince spoke up directly. Crown Prince, don't get too angry either. Li Jun has been missing for 3 years. Apart from those people like De Fei, there is no other strength. Maybe it's just a bluff. Qinyao smiled and said. Brother Yao, you have little dealings with Li Jun. I don't know his prowess. Since he dares to speak up, he must be confident in moving us. The Crown Prince's face did not relax due to Qinyao's words. One person, one knife, one flag in Yao Ma Ti, and one's own strength subdued the 5 major clubs, allowing Hong Xing to settle in Tsim Sha Sui in Causeway Bay. Who dares to underestimate the reputation of Li Jun, a mixed dragon? Big Shot B deeply agrees with the Crown Prince's words. 3 years ago, the two of them were the ones who followed Li Jun into Tsim Sha Sui and Causeway Bay, and naturally understood Li Jun's strength. Crown Prince, B, Li Junduaba, is closed. Of course I know, but don't forget that there are many people on Hong Kong Island who owe Li Jun, not just the two of you. Chen Yao's face still wore a smile. Brother Yao, what do you mean? Upon hearing Chen Yao's words, Big Boss B's eyes lit up sharply, as if he understood Chen Yao's meaning. Lu Yaozhu from Yao Ma Ti, from the movie, The Ultimate 36 Strategies. Stealing the Sun, and Yao Xing from Tsim Sha Sui, from the movie, Heroic Nature, with their hotels and financial companies in their hands, were once Li Jun's property. Do you guess if they would be willing to return them to their rightful owners? Chen Yao looks like a smart pearl in hand. Brother Yao, it has to be you. You are truly the club's white paper fan, your mind is just eye-catching. The Crown Prince also wore a smile on his face. This move is called borrowing a knife to kill. Chen Yao smiled slightly and slowly spoke up. At the same time, Kwun Tong Wawa Street, which is a famous street on Hong Kong Island, has 9 gold shops on both sides of less than 1,000 meters of road. Beside Wuhua Street, no one paid attention. In the dark alley, Wang Jianjun lurked here like a wild wolf. Behind him, 10 expressionless veterans stood quietly. Brother, these gold shops open at 8 o'clock and store goods at 8:30. Wang Jiangwo ran to Wang Jianjun's side and whispered. Wang Jianjun nodded slightly. The next thing Wang Jianjun needs to do is very obvious. If someone has a gun, how can they get money quickly? Li Jun is very clear about it. However, Li Jun chose the target at the gold shop, not only to make money, but also to verify his own conjecture. Remember, Junge only wants gold. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hong Kong Island, Yao Ma Ti, Kowloon headquarters of the Hong Kong Island Police Force. In the office of Qin Jiang, Assistant Commander of Kowloon General District. Uncle Jiang, what's the big deal? Shout me wake up and start work at 7 o'clock. Song Guoming, from the movie Skywalker, the chief inspector of the Kowloon General District Aji, held a cigarette in his mouth and smiled as he said to Qin Jiang. I extinguished my cigarette and sent you to America for anti-terrorism training, but I didn't teach you how to smoke. Qin Jiang first scolded Song Guoming, then picked up a newspaper and handed it to Song Guoming. The newspaper from 3 years ago. Uncle Jiang, are you still quite nostalgic? Song Guoming glanced at the newspaper and found that the date was 3 years ago. He smiled and said. Damn it, I let you read the content of the newspaper, I didn't let you read the newspaper time. Qin Jiang rolled his eyes and said in a displeased tone. Li Jun, a mixed river dragon, disappeared in Siam, suspected of being assassinated. After listening to Qin Jiang's words, Song Guoming looked at the headline on the newspaper page and whispered softly. Then, he suddenly lifted his head and looked at Qin Jiang. Uncle Jiang, I know Li Jun. I didn't know how powerful he was in the underworld back then, and the headquarters Aji had specially built a file for him. When he was a club leader, what do you mean by letting me read this newspaper now? Li Jun is not dead. There is news from Hong Xing's staff that Li Jun suddenly appeared at the Hongxing entrance last night and wants to retrieve his land in Causeway Bay and Tsim Sha Sui. Qin Jiang slowly spoke up and answered. Large organizations like Hongxing naturally have undercover agents from the police force. The Crown Prince and Big B have been operating in Causeway Bay and Tsim Sha Sui for many years and will definitely not let go. Now that Li Jun has returned strong, there will definitely be a battle between the two sides. Uncle Jiang, what do you mean? Song Guoming seemed to understand what Qin Jiang meant. However, before Song Guoming could finish speaking, Qin Jiang interrupted directly, Ah Ming, although it's not a good thing to say that, these clubs on Hong Kong Island are in chaos, and you need to memorize in order to make achievements. I want you to form a group and target Li Jun. If you make some achievements, I can also recommend you to my superiors. Uncle Jiang, thank you very much. I will definitely not disappoint your cultivation. Song Guoming immediately stood up and thanked Qin Jiang. Don't thank me, your father also raised me like this back then, which made me so busy that my hair fell out. Qin Jiang pointed to his bald head and replied with a smile. Then Qin Jiang continued to speak, aiming, regarding Li Jun, I have a suggestion for you. Last night when he returned to Hong Kong Island, Jiang Tiansheng was kidnapped by someone. This is just a coincidence. You can find a way to write an article from here. Okay, Uncle Jiang, I understand what you mean. Song Guoming's eyes flashed with a hint of brilliance, and he slowly nodded and said. Well, let's go get things done. I'm waiting for your good news. By the way, please provide me with the list of personnel you need as soon as possible so that I can arrange for you. Qin Jiang nodded slightly. Yes, sir. After a loud response, Song Guoming walked out of Qin Jiang's office. 10 minutes later, Song Guoming's office. Song sir, this is all the information you need about Li Jun. A female police officer in military uniform handed a thick stack of documents to Song Guoming. Okay, thank you very much. After receiving the materials, Song Guoming immediately began to browse through them, and what caught his eye was Li Jun's handsome and proud face. Mixed Jianglong Li Jun, Yi Qiu, Zhouwen Dragon's Promise, Sun Wang, Dafei. Looking at each person's name in the information, Song Guoming whispered to himself, then picked up the phone and dialed the next number. I am Song Guoming. From now on, keep an eye on people like Li Jun, Wan Nguyen, and Dafei. No matter what happens to them, please notify me immediately. On the other side, Yao Ma Ti, Kowloon Ice House. Long Gu, it's so early. At 8 o'clock in the morning, Kang, the owner of the Kowloon Ice Room, saw Zhou Long, who had already been cleaning in the room, smiling and greeting. Being alone at home is boring, why not come to the ice room to do something? Zhou Long smiled and replied. At this moment, he is wearing a red apron and does not have the same dominance as when he followed Li Jun to cross Hong Kong and Kowloon. 3 years ago, after narrowly escaping death in Siam and returning to Hong Kong Island, he was first punished by Jiang Tiansheng on the pretext of seeking to uncover the true culprit behind the assassination of Li Jun. He was forced by Jiang Tiansheng to cross over to the Eastern Star and become a disciple of Wu Jiwei, the 5 smiling tigers of the Eastern Star. After Xiaomianhu recruited him under the pretext of supporting the 9-striped dragon for revenge, he quickly expanded his power with the 9-striped dragon's force. In the end, after offending the big shot, he decisively sold the 9-striped dragon. Although the 9-striped dragon had a bloody path, his left leg was disabled and he became a cripple like in the movie. This also made Zhouwen Dragon feel disheartened and cold, and withdrew from the martial arts world. Brother Long, you know, Red Sister has never forgotten you for so many years. You are also alone now, why not? Ma Jiaohong asked you to be a lobbyist. Before Kong could finish speaking, he was interrupted by the 9-striped dragon. The Ma Jiaohong mentioned in Kang's mouth is the ex-girlfriend of Zhou Long. After Zhou Long had an accident, she broke up with her and withdrew from the martial arts world. Recently, Ma Jiaohong found out that Zhou Long appeared in the Jiulong Ice Room and immediately approached her, hoping to bring Zhou Long back into the martial arts world. Brother Long, I'm definitely not a lobbyist for Red Sister. I can tell that Red Sister really loves you. Kang quickly explained. Ma Jiaohong's love for me is true, but more importantly, she wants me to return to the martial arts world. June is no longer here, and I have no ability to seek revenge for him. Jianghu. Oh, without June, where did the Jianghu come from? The 9-striped dragon has a lonely and desolate expression, with a look full of self-blame and guilt. Long Gu, if June Gu were here, I definitely wouldn't want you to be so decadent. Kang quickly comforted and said that he knew very well that Li Jun was the hurdle that Zhou Enlong could never cross in his heart. Otherwise, with Zhou Enlong's abilities, he wouldn't have fallen into this trap. Lingling, at this moment, the wind chime hanging at the entrance of the ice chamber rang, and Kang and Zhou Enlong instinctively looked over. When they saw the young man at the door, Kang and Zhou Enlong froze in place. Ah, long time no see. At this moment, there was no rebellious and unruly expression on Li Jun's face, only a heartfelt smile. Junge, at this moment, the corners of the nine-striped dragon's eyes were already moist on the other side, Wuhua Street in Kuntong. The police response time is 3 minutes, you need to get everything done within 3 minutes. Remember, as long as it's gold. Wang Jianjun issued orders to the top 10 veterans. This is also one of the functions of the Xiaoxiong system, where Li Jun can grant permission to designated individuals to summon veterans to obey their commands. Of course, the highest authority will always be in the hands of Li Jun. As Wang Jianjun's words fell, these 10 veterans immediately left the alley. Except for one person sitting in a small truck, the others entered 9 gold shops on a per-person basis. A few minutes later, bursts of gunfire shattered the tranquility of Wuhua Street. Subsequently, a small cargo truck carrying 9 robbers quickly left Wuhua Street and fled towards Lion Rock in Saikung. Just the pursuing police didn't notice. Shortly after they were chasing the robber and leaving, 2 young men carrying handbags got into a small car and left Wuhua Street, heading towards the Yaoma area. Li Jun, remember, as long as I say you can. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the same time as the gold shop robbery occurred on Wuhua Street in Kuntong, Yaoma T. At the entrance of the Kowloon Ice Room, there is a sign saying, "Business suspended." Ah Long, do you really want to quit the martial arts world? After talking to Zhou Enlong, Li Jun asked this question. Junge, as long as you speak up, I can do anything, but I'm a cripple now and I'm afraid I won't be able to do it, which will hold you back. Zhou Dragon instinctively glanced at his limping hind leg, his expression somewhat gloomy. In the future, I'll leave Tsim Sha Sui to you to take care of. Relax, I say you can do it. You can do it for Hongxing Dragon Head. Li Jun patted Zhou Enlong's shoulder and said with a smile. Then, before Zhou Enlong could speak, Li Jun continued, Along, I know you don't want to trouble me. You didn't tell me about your situation in the East Star, but the smiling tiger almost killed you. This revenge, as a big brother, I must help you avenge it. After speaking, Li Jun turned his head and said to Feng Yuxiu, who was standing behind him, Ah Xiu, take someone on a trip and kill the smiling tiger of Dongxing. Okay, Junge. Feng Yuxiu nodded and then turned around to leave the Kowloon Ice Room. Why only let Wang Jianjun take 10 veterans to rob the gold shop? Firstly, Li Jun has already made up his mind to sacrifice these people, and sending fewer people is also considered to save him some money. Secondly, there are other things that require manpower, such as taking out the smiling tiger. Of course, the most important thing is that 10 people are enough to complete what Li Jun needs to do. Junge. Upon hearing Li Jun's words, Zhou Enlong was about to speak when he was interrupted by Li Jun. Ah Long, we are all brothers. Don't say anything extra. Starting from today, I will be here. Okay, Junge, even on the day when Zhou Enlong was limping, he didn't shed tears, but today, in just 1 hour, he shed tears twice. Lingling, tsk, Brother Long, the store is so lively today. Just as the atmosphere in the Kowloon Ice Room was filled with emotion, as the wind chimes at the door rang, and disharmonious sound entered the ears of Li Jun and others. Li Jun turned his head and saw a man dyeing his hair red, wearing sunglasses, and looking like a loser appear in front of him. Brother Long, last time I told you, how did you consider it? As long as you go out and help me with the work, your horse Ma Jiaohong owes me 10 million yuan for the goods. I can give her a few days' grace. Volcano glanced at Li Jun, realizing that he didn't know him, and then looked at Jiang Dragon with a playful expression on his face. Volcano, you. Just as Jiang Long was about to speak, he was interrupted by Li Jun's outstretched hand. Then, Li Jun nodded at Gao Jin beside him, and Gao Jin came to the volcano like lightning, almost in the blink of an eye. He punched him to the ground, stomped heavily on his chest, and the fire mountain let out a painful scream. When the volcano let out a scream, the two horses following behind the volcano reacted and immediately attacked Gao Jin. As a result, Gao Jin used the volcano's chest as a support point to exert force, and two whip legs knocked these two horses unconscious on the spot. And the volcano, which was already under pressure and couldn't breathe, almost shut down. After Gao Jin had taken care of the volcano and his horse, Li Jun slowly stood up and walked to the side of the volcano. He looked down at the volcano from a high position and said calmly, "Let my brother help you with your work, do you also deserve it?" "You. Who are you?" Volcano gritted his teeth and looked at Li Jun, then gritted his teeth and asked. "Volcano, you street thug, don't you even know brother Long Jun from the mixed river? You're still mixing in your mother's world." Before Li Jun could speak, Kong beside him sneered. "Mixed river dragon." The volcano was momentarily stunned, and then its pupils dilated violently. "Li Jun, the mixed river dragon, you didn't die." When he was only on the Eastern Star 49th, Li Jun had already fought all over Hong Kong Island. Later, I heard that he died in Siam, and the volcano never expected Li Jun to die and still appear here. It's good to know my name, so as not to be a confused ghost. Li Jun glanced at the shocked volcano and said calmly. "You." Upon hearing Li Jun's words, the volcano's face suddenly changed. Unfortunately, just as he spoke, he was knocked unconscious by a kick from Gao Jin. Lingling a gust of wind chimes. Three expressionless men walked into the Kowloon ice room and carried the volcano and his two henchmen out of the room. "Relax, my people are very professional." Li Jun smiled and patted the worried and plump face of Ah Khan. Then he turned his head to Jiang Long and said, "Long, I have other things to do. Let's take a step first. Be prepared. Starting tomorrow, you will be a fit person from Hongxing Tsim Sha Sui. Also, Ma Jiaohong is your woman, you can handle it yourself." After speaking, Li Jun left the Kowloon ice room with Gao Jin. As the wind chimes dissipated, the Kowloon ice room once again only had Jiang Long and a Kang. "Brother Long, are you familiar with Brother Jun? Has he always been like this?" It was not until it was confirmed that Li Jun must have gone far that Ah Khan cautiously asked this question. Although he has also come out to sneak around, he has never seen such a ruthless character who sends people off to the underworld at the slightest disagreement. Junge, he's more ruthless, more extraordinary than before, more like a big shot, and more reassuring to my brothers. Jiang Long looked at the direction of the entrance to Jilong ice room and said slowly, word by word. A Kang is not sure, but Jiang Dragon knows that Li Jun killed the volcano to vent his anger. Thinking of this, Jiang Long walked to the bar, picked up the phone, and dialed the next number. "Ah Hong, it's me. You're coming to the Jilong ice room now. I have some things I need to explain to you in person." On the other hand, after Li Jun left the Kowloon ice room with Gao Jin, a silver crown immediately stopped in front of him. Then, De Fei got off the car and said to Li Jun, "Jun, I have already checked everything you asked me to check." The former owner of the Yaomati Hongxing Hotel, Robinson Crusoe, was imprisoned in Stanley for attempted murder. Now, the owner of the Hongxing Hotel is Robinson Crusoe's son.in.law, Lu Yaozu. It is said that the backing behind Lu Yaozu is the loyal and faithful Lian Haolong. Additionally, Junge, the two individuals you mentioned, Song Zihao and Mark, were arrested and sentenced to 3 years imprisonment in Baodao 3 years ago, shortly after your incident. As for Mark, I have not yet found out about their whereabouts. Li Jun was able to conquer the 5 major clubs at the time, and of course, relying solely on military force was not enough. At that time, he held the casino of Hongxing Hotel and the counterfeit currency company of Jiang Finance Company, Limited. With these two professions, Li Jun made a lot of money. Just as he had an accident in Siam, Hongxing Hotel and Jiang Finance Company, Limited also changed ownership. Robinson Crusoe, who worked for him, as well as Song Zihao and Mark, were either imprisoned or missing. Okay, Dafei, you can take me to Central after working hard later. Li Jun smiled slightly and then prepared to board the car. Whether it's Hongxing Hotel or Jiang Finance Company, Li Junquan wants both. However, in between, Li Jun decided to first deal with Lu Yaozu of Hongxing Hotel. The reason is also simple. There is a bond worth 300 million Hong Kong dollars in Lu Yaozu's villa. Li Jun, I finally saw you. Just as Li Jun was already halfway into the car, a man's voice drifted into his ear. Li Jun turned his head and saw a middle-aged man in a gray suit with a slick back, smiling at him. Let me introduce myself. My name is Song Guoming and I am the Chief Inspector of Kowloon District's Aji. Upon receiving the news, Li Jun went to the Jiulong ice room to find Zhou Dragon. Song Guoming immediately set off, rushing slowly and finally blocked Li Jun. Sir Song, do you have any instructions? Li Jun looked at Song Guoming with a faint smile on his face. When Li Jun looked at Song Guoming, he also observed Li Jun. He found that compared to the photo, Li Jun was even more handsome and fierce, and even more difficult to deal with. 010, Feng Yu Xiu. Smiling Tiger, my big brother sent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yao Ma Ti, not far from Kowloon Ice House. Song Guoming stood next to the Crown sedan and looked at Li Jun sitting in the car. He smiled and said, Li Jun, I'm curious. Where have you been in the past 3 years? Can you share it with me? Actually, there's nothing to share. I've been a fool for 3 years. Li Jun said, to be honest, but looking at Song Guoming's expression, it was obvious that he thought Li Jun was treating him like a fool. Li Jun, you haven't drunk coffee from our police force for 3 years. Do you remember what it tastes like? Sir Song wants to treat me to coffee. The smile on Li Jun's face remained unchanged. I don't know if you give face or not. Song Guoming also wore a smile on his face. The two of them seemed like they were really going to have coffee. Didi, right here, standing behind Song Guoming in plain clothes, the walkie-talkie in his pocket made a sound. He picked up the walkie-talkie and just pressed the answer button when he heard, there was an armed robbery on Wuhua Street in Kun Tong. Please all nearby police officers come to support us. Upon hearing these words, Li Jun's face remained unchanged, while Song Guoming hesitated for a moment before saying to Li Jun, it seems that we didn't have a chance this time. We'll treat you to coffee next time. The police rarely broadcast notices on a large scale and on full frequency. Once they occur, it indicates that there must be a serious case. In Song Guoming's opinion, dealing with Li Jun should not be rushed at the moment, and it is better to go to Kun Tong for support first. Sir Song, you're too polite. Faced with Song Guoming's invitation, Li Jun smiled and replied. Upon hearing this, Song Guoming cast a deep glance at Li Jun and then shouted loudly, team up, go to Wuhua Street in Kun Tong. Check out the details of this Song Guoming. Watching Song Guoming and others leave, Li Jun said calmly to Dafei. Okay, Junge. Dafei immediately responded. 10 minutes later, a black Corolla sedan stopped next to the Crown sedan. Then, Wang Jianjun and Wang Jiangwo got out of the car and walked towards the Crown sedan that Li Jun was riding on, each carrying 2 handbags. After seeing the two brothers Wang Jianjun and Wang Jiangwo, Li Jun slowly got off the car and picked up a handbag. Found 70,000 grams of gold, which can be exchanged for 70,000 points in the system. Do you want to exchange it? At the moment when Li Jun found a handbag, the sound of the system rang in his mind. Upon hearing this sound, a hint of smile flashed around Li Jun's lips. As expected, a system point anchored to 1 gram of gold. This time, Li Jun asked the brothers Wang Jianjun and Wang Jiangwo to lead people to rob the gold shop. The main purpose was to see the relationship between gold and system points, and to try to see if the stolen money and items could be exchanged for system points. If the person summoned by Li Jun can redeem points by grabbing something, it will be too easy for him to earn system points. However, it is obvious that the system did not give Li Jun this opportunity, and he must personally obtain it before he can redeem it. Quickly, Li Jun replaced the 200 pounds of gold that Wang Jianjun and Wang Jiangwo had snatched with 100,000 system points, and the originally heavy 4 handbags suddenly became empty and deflated. Subsequently, Li Jun immediately chose to upgrade. Upgrading from platoon leader to platoon leader requires 150,000 system points, while the host currently has 240,000 system points. Do you want to upgrade? Yes. Congratulations to the host for upgrading to company commander and obtaining 10 free attribute points. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 1 summoning character card and 1 summoning skill card. Do you want to summon? Yes. Congratulations to the host for winning the character Zhang Hua, from the movie Dark War, Unique. Congratulations to the host for winning the skill. Discerning loyalty and treachery, using the skill can see whether the other party is loyal to you. Seeing the characters and skills selected, Li Jun's face unconsciously showed a smile. Zhang Hua is the intelligent bandit Hua in the Secret War. Currently, Li Jun's subordinates are capable of fighting, but they can use their brains. With Zhang Hua present, many things can be entrusted to Hua without him having to personally worry about them. The skill of discerning loyalty and treachery is even more important to Li Jun. Although he still has many old subordinates on Hong Kong Island, who knows if they have changed their minds after 3 years. With the skill of discerning loyalty and treachery, Li Jun can ensure that everything is flawless. Thinking of this, Li Jun immediately used this skill to Da Fei not far away, and saw a prominent loyalty character on Da Fei's head, highlighting a simple and rough one, which made Li Jun very satisfied. After adding 10 free attribute points to agility and physique attributes respectively, Li Jun looked at his panel. Because agility can increase responsiveness and speed, and physique can increase physical strength, both of which belong to life-saving attributes, Li Jun decided that all future free attribute points should be added to these 2 attributes. As for strength, as the saying goes, he doesn't lack anyone who can fight under his command. Of course, the fact that physical fitness can increase Xiao Li Jun's combat power is an additional benefit, and it is not the reason why Li Jun adds points. Name: Li Jun, Strength. 22, Normal Person 10, Agility. 25, Normal Person 10, Physical Fitness. 24, 10 for Normal Individuals, Skills. Free Fighting, Proficient, Gambling, Master Level, Discerning Loyalty and Treachery, Title. Company Leader, upgrading to the next level requires 1 million system points, remaining system points. 90,000, remaining summoners. 70/100, summoning characters. Wang Jianjun, Wang Jiangwo, Gao Jin, Feng Yuxiu, Zhang Hua, can be embodied. After upgrading to company commander, the number of summoners increased from 30 to 70, and a new type of summoner called Elite Veterans was added. The price of Elite Veterans has also increased from 300 system points per person to 1,000 system points per person, indicating that Elite Veterans are more than a little stronger in terms of ability compared to the veterans. However, Li Jun has not yet summoned him. After all, he is not easy to become a living person on the main road. The series of things such as system upgrades, lottery draws, and bonus points may seem like a long time, but in fact, they are all completed in the blink of an eye. In the eyes of Da Fei and others, Li Jun was just stunned for a second, unable to see without careful observation. Jianjun, take someone to investigate Lu Yaozu, the owner of the Henglai Hotel in Yaomati. Wait for my notification and be ready to take action at any time. After the upgrade, Li Jun gave instructions to Wang Jianjun. Okay, Junge. Wang Jianjun nodded in response and then took Wang Jiangwo to the Corolla sedan to leave. Dafei, let's go to Central. After Wang Jianjun left, Li Jun sat back in the Crown sedan and smiled at Dafei sitting in the driver's seat. On the other side, there is a mahjong parlor in Mong Kok. At this moment, Smiling Tiger is playing all-night cards with his 3 young horses. As the 5 tigers of Dongxing, Wu Jiwei's territory is mainly located in Mong Kok. Boss, Zhouwen Dragon's dead cripple is already a useless person. Why do you ask the volcano to come forward and recruit him? A horse with a smiling face touched his cards and asked the tiger as he spoke. It's true that Zhouwen Long is a useless person, but his horse, Ma Jiaohong, is now thriving and has climbed onto the prince's street-beating bed. The smile on the Smiling Tiger's face was very cold. Boss, you're not trying to trick the 9-striped dragon into being a handsome man, are you? But not to mention, 9-striped dragon is really pretty. A lewd smile appeared on the face of the horse who had just been questioned. Hongxing, 13 cents, give me the money. The Smiling Tiger did not respond to the Mazai's words, but instead pushed the card in front of it after touching a red card, with a smile on its face. At this moment, a short man with a scar on his face walked into the mahjong parlor, and it was Feng Yuxiu. Hello, this place is closed in the morning. Dongxing Mazai, who was guarding the entrance of the mahjong parlor, immediately reached out and stopped the man. Is Wu Jiwei, the Smiling Tiger, here? Feng Yuxiu's tone is plain. Who are you? What can I do for you? Upon hearing Feng Yuxiu's words, Wu Jiwei, who was collecting money, looked up at Feng Yuxiu and asked because he had been in a bad mood for 13 days. Wu Jiwei, my elder brother asked me to take your life. The corner of Feng Yuxiu's mouth cracked, revealing a terrifying smile that could make children stop crying.